You've come here because you want to learn how to change faces in Football Manager, to remove those blank faces in your face packs, to change the faces of your regens, to turn somebody into a horse. That's exactly what we're going to be doing today, turning somebody in my Twitch save into a horse. And in doing so, going to show you how to change any faces you might want to change for any purpose, and the application's going to be generally uniform. And as always, I'm going to take all the time necessary to make sure that even if you barely know how to turn on your computer, you will also be able to do this. So hit it! Okay, so we're going to start down in the bottom corner because we're going to go over quickly the things that you are going to need, and I'm going to tell you how to find them. First, you're going to need a program called FM XML. It's going to be what writes the code for you so that you don't have to write the code and that I can actually make this tutorial video less than an hour long. I highlighted it down here. I've got it pinned to my taskbar. Actually, I'm going to show you how to find it, and I'm going to show you how to use it. It's very simple, I promise. Won't be diving into the complicated parts of it. You're also going to need a unzipping thing, either Unarchiver for Mac or 7-zip. Sorry. The only other thing you're going to need is your confidence and whatever picture that you want to put in the game, obviously. Because this really is just going to take some confidence. You're going to have to follow me into the folders. You're going to have to trust that this is going to work. You're going to be creating a few new folders in the Football Manager section. And yes, this does work on Mac too. FM XML does run on Mac. It's going to look differently, but the options will be the same, and you'll be able to execute just about the same thing as long as you can get yourself into the Football Manager folder, which is going to take a little bit of a different route. But all you have to do is go to Steam and right-click and go to Local Files to get into the local files for Football Manager. If you're on Windows and you still have no idea what I'm talking about, or if you're on Mac and you have no idea why you'd be going there, we're about to go there after we get FM XML. So let's start that. Use whatever search engine you want and then type in FM XML. So I've typed it in. You can do for Mac or for Windows, and we'll go to Scout. They have it for Windows, and we click download. So once you start downloading it, the file is going to be zipped. That's fine. I'm going to show you how to unzip the file. It sounds complicated, and it's not. Just use one of those unzipper things I talked about earlier. You decide where you want to save it. You can throw it on your desktop if you're a simpleton like me, and then the zipped file is going to go onto your desktop. Capiche? Then you're going to go find your unzipping program. This is either going to be 7-zip on Windows. You can use WinRAR2, but I'm going to be showing 7-zip as an example because that's what I'm more comfortable with. So I would recommend using the same if you're trying to follow along with me exactly, or you use Unarchiver on Mac, which is going to be a similar process. So we go to, wait for it, 7-zip, 7-zip. And the first thing that comes up is 7-zip. This looks like a really old school website, something that actually, I mean, honestly, really intimidated me. I'm not great with computers. You just download, one of these two. Your life is going to be okay. You click download and 7-zip will download. I have it pinned to my taskbar. This is the logo looking thing down here. And that is what you're going to want to get. You just throw it on your desktop or whatever. Here, I'll even click it. I'll show you. See, application. So it's already, there's no either unzipping or fancy stuff you need to do. You can just go to your desktop and throw it on there, and then you open it. Once you open 7-zip, this is what it's going to look like. So what you have here in front of you, this UI, if you've never used 7-zip before. If you have, just use your arrow keys and skip over this for 1 minute. This is your file path. So this is just picking a folder to look at. And right now we're sitting in the editor data of my Football Manager. But that's fine. If we wanted to go to desktop, we just click this little arrow and it keeps going back. And we will eventually be able to get to, all the way back. There's an easier way to do this. What am I doing? Click the drop down arrow. This is the part where you notice that I'm not very good at computers. You can go to C, users, Zlound, and then there's desktop. Very easily find all of your stuff in here. It's some pain for me. But you just play around in your folders wherever you save it in a comfortable spot for you, and you can find it. And once you find it, you click on something and then you click extract, because what you want to do is extract that compressed, that zipped data. And when you click extract, we're just going to extract this. It will tell you, or will give you a pane that's asking where you want to extract it to. And when you're extracting it to someplace, you can click these three dots right here, and then you can pick a folder that you want to extract it to. You can extract it to the same place that it was. Just put it, you extract it onto the desktop. Once you extract it, you're going to click OK. I'm obviously not, because I'm not extracting the shortcut for game. But once you extract it, you click OK, and it's going to load for a second. It won't load for that long. That's fine, because it's FM XML. It's not actually that big. And then FM XML will be on your desktop, and you'll be set to follow along with what we're going to be doing next. It'll work the same way, really, on WinRAR and on Archiver. So once you have extracted the file, it's okay to go ahead and delete the zipped version, because you have the full version. And we're going to open up FM XML. This is what it's going to look like. And we're just going to throw that over there, because that's the way I like to organize my desktop. And we are going to find a picture of a horse. Obviously, this part is not particularly important in terms of the tutorial, but that's what we need to do. Not this one. There it is. It's allowing us to save this as a JPEG. So let's go to the desktop. Horse head. Make sure you're saving it as a JPEG, because sometimes it'll try and save it as a web file. It's just a Google thing. Boom. At this point, we are all set in terms of the things that we need, but we need a number from inside of the game in order to actually go about changing the face. We need the player ID number of the person whose face we're going to be changing in order to make the change. So we're going to go into Football Manager and figure that out now. While this loads in, if you haven't liked this video yet, and it's been helpful for you or entertaining for you, and you feel like we're on a good roll and you're going to be able to figure out exactly how to do this, that would be greatly appreciated. Lets us know if we're doing a good job or if we're not doing a good job. And you can also subscribe to the channel to get different notifications and get us in your subscriber feed whenever new videos come up about the best tactics in our tactic tester, or what I just released, how to set up your save, or throughout the year marching through the best wonder kids at every position, all that sort of stuff. We have a lot of fun with it, or maybe the best free agents, whatever you're into, we've got all of it. And we're messing around with a couple of new ideas too. So if you want those, you can subscribe. I also mentioned that I stream on Twitch. We're going to be changing a face for a player in my Twitch save, and that is going to be linked down below as well. If you want to follow me, if you want to hang out during then, or you want to ask your questions, or just see what color shirt I'm wearing that day, because I look like a highlighter right now. All right, we've loaded into my Twitch save. We've gone to the squad screen, and now what we're going to need to do is turn on the player ID numbers, because right now I don't believe I have them on. They'd show up right here. I do have them on, but I'm going to show you how to turn them on anyways, just in case you do not know how. You're going to go to FM Preferences, and from Preferences you're going to want to go to Interface. You do that by, well, there, and then Interface. Click the drop down Interface, and somewhere in here, I know this, show screen IDs in title bar to assist skinning. You're going to want to tick that on. You're going to want to reload skin when confirming changes, because that will actually reload the skin. I actually don't even think you need to do that to show screen IDs. And you can also reload the skin from down here any point if you just click that button. And then once you have loaded it in, you have ID numbers for all of your players right next to the team that they play for. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you that we can change faces for people that are already in the face pack, people that aren't already in the face pack, and a regen. So what we're going to do is change 3 people into a horse. First up is Faisal Al-Badri. He is not in the face pack, even though he's a pretty good player for the Libyan national team. He's honestly a great signing if you have the opportunity, because he's still playing in Libya. At the start of the game, I was able to pick him up in Belarus. So he doesn't have any facial data in the folders already. So he's basically the easiest one to change, and we just make sure we write down this number. 20. Next, we are going to change Igor Filipenko. Filipenko is in the face pack. He's a decent player, plays for the Belarusian national team, and we need his number. Then finally, we're going to need a regen. So we'll go to my U19s team. I'm like 1 year in advance. So we'll just find Evgeny Katz. Yes. Oh, look at that. I have real faces on regens. If only I would make a video on how to get real faces on regens. Wouldn't that be helpful for some people? I'm not saying that that's in the future. that there's going to be a video explaining how to get real faces on regens. I'm just saying it's a possibility. So now we've got all 3 of the faces that we're going to turn into a horse. Let's get to turning. So it's at this point that you are going to tab out, and this you hit Alt-Tab, and I always just try and explain everything. I'm sorry if that's a little too excruciating for you. And then you can pull up things while you're playing Football Manager. If that's too hard for your computer, you can also just quit out of Football Manager. It's going to take you a little longer. Obviously, you got to load it out, load it in again. We're going to go into File Explorer, and this is if you're on Windows. Remember, on Mac, Football Manager 2020 is going to be in a different spot. But on Windows, you're going to go into File Explorer, Documents, Sports Interactive, Football Manager 2020. You should see all your Football Managers there if you've got more than one. And then you go into Graphics and Faces. And in here you can see I have a couple of face packs. One, well, I'm not going to tell you what that is. And this is my actual face pack. I've got to sort my faces. So let's go with face pack. And throw DF11 in there. And let's go with Mysterious Other. And throw the Mysterious Other in there. And we're going to need a third folder that's going to be Custom Faces. And Custom Faces is where we're going to be doing our best work. Custom Faces isn't good enough. We're going equines only. You should name it Custom Faces, but ours is equine. Now we need our picture, so I'm going to right-click File Explorer and go to Desktop. And I'm going to pull that picture, called Horsehead, into equines only. And so now we have our picture of a horse head. And we can copy and paste it twice so that we have 2 copies, and we have 3 total for the 3 people we're going to turn into a horse. Now what you do, and I'm going to speed this up a little bit, is you go through and you type in the player ID number as the name of the file. So now that we have the names changed for these 3 files to the player IDs, we can go ahead and get rid of this second window. And the fact that we brought up FM XML finally comes in handy. So I want you to back out of your file by 1 location so that you can grab the folder. So I'm going to back out to Faces and drag equines only into that bar. It's that easy. If you want to make it complicated, you can browse and find the folder, but it's much easier to just back out one and then drag the folder right into here, and it'll provide the whole folder path. You see Football Manager 2020, Graphics, Faces, Equines only. Just trying to make life easy for you. Now, this is obviously the crucial part. Make config XML file. Yes, you want it to write code for Faces. And you'll see that there's a very convenient option that says all file names are IDs. So we're going to do that. Then we're going to click Go. And we're getting a Windows sound. And then when you go back in this file, there's a config. That's it. When you open this config file with Notepad, which I just did open with Notepad, this is what the FM XML just did for you. It wrote a piece of code that says record from blank to this portrait, record from this player ID to this portrait, and so on and so forth. So it just saves you a bunch of time. That and the fact that I obviously just don't know how to do it. So we're going back into Football Manager, and now we are going to want to reload the skin. So we just click Reload Skin. And if this pops up, then it's working. Sometimes it doesn't, and that means it didn't work. Just do it again. Now the moment of truth. I'm an animal. Literally. This is Filipenko. He was already in the face pack, but he's been trumped by the newer config XML. Now if we go to Faisal Al-Badri, he is also a horse. That was the easy one. And now we go to the guy who was on my regen face pack, named Evgeny Katz, and he is also a horse because he's been trumped by the newer config XML. There you go. If you're having any issues, the main reason that you're having issues almost all the time is that you have caching on. That would be right here. So if you have caching on, it's saving image data to increase your load speed. You just turn caching off until the next time you open the game, then you can turn it back on and the new faces will be part of the cache, right? But you want to turn caching off so that it's not showing you the pre-saved image data. You want to actually be able to reload it. If you're having more issues and for some reason the supremacy of the most recent config file is not trumping like game generated images, you can unclick show pictures of players and staff, reload the skin, and then re-click it and reload the skin, and the supremacy should be established over the show pictures of players and staff that have been generated by the game. Those are the only two other issues that I've ever encountered with this that have... I've done this 100 times. I've done it on stream a bunch. We have a face change command and everything. Those are the only two problems I've ever run into with it, and this is very helpful. Like, what I'm going to go do now is I'm going to go to Faisal Al-Badri and find an actual picture of him and put him in the game because he's not actually in the face pack, but he's a good player for me. So that's what I get to do with the rest of my day. And that's everything you need to know to change faces in Football Manager. It also gets you primed for the video of how to install real faces on regens in a mass face pack and then change it for reasons that will be disclosed later. But this video needed to come first. It's also a point of interest for a good number of people. I honestly don't know how many people want to be able to do this in the game, but now you can. Now the knowledge is out there. You can turn any player in the game into any picture you want. Maybe you can organize your players based off picture. You can have all your attackers as one. I'm getting carried away, and that never happens ever. Just have a great day. I hope this helped. I'll see you guys soon. Zealand out.